the other one.
You want me to record this whole thing or not?
Pretty good.
You're going to fast for a week. Maybe you're going to pray every day for someone. Maybe you're going to sit at the feet of people whenever they have a meeting and learn. Maybe that's your call. Maybe that's what God calls you to do. Whatever it is that God calls you to do, that is what He is saying, this is what I want you to do. And so we need to be able to hear the voice. And if we don't, what do we do about it? Hi. I don't know if I'm hearing right. Or I don't know if I'm hearing at all. To somebody who does. And has a track record of doing so. Do we come alongside of them and they say, come, walk with me? I thank God for my own pastor. You know, talks about what's his name? Oh, I draw a blank. Talks about a man in the Bible who's a priest, Levitical, priest of the tribe of Levi, and used of God, very anointed. And the man was, I should remember his name. I don't remember his name right now. But he was one of those led to be right there at the altar while it was being transported.
Uzzah.
Uzzah. Yeah. Uzzah was his name. And Uzzah saw his cart malfunctioning. The ark was falling. Logical. Ark's falling, you don't let it fall. You put your hand up there. Oops. It was arrogance on his part because he said, I'm going to help God. I can tell you my own story that I've told before about helping God, which I won't ever do again. Because I was just as bad as as guilty as Uzzah in helping God. So at a wonderful few meetings that adults would got all these gemstones. It was before we ever came up with the school. If they come up here, pick them up, and put them in a bowl so everybody gets one. And the children were left out. Now the elderly were left out. Because they couldn't get it at the moment in time. And everyone was grabbing them up by handfuls and taking them home. And it hurt my heart to see that. And so logically, not a problem. Put some out for the kids to find. Makes sense, doesn't it? Unfortunately, it's just as bad as Uzzah. You can't do that. You shouldn't. God doesn't need your help. He needs our obedience. You want to help God? Obey Him. You want to help God? Surrender unto Him. Submit to Him. Don't use our own thinking of how to help God. So what do we do? Well, turn over to Deuteronomy 9. I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying here. Verse 13 says, Furthermore, the Lord said to me, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stubborn people. Let me alone, that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven. And I will make of you a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mountain, and the mountain was burning with fire, and the 2 tablets of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, behold, you had sinned against the Lord your God. You had made yourself a golden calf. You had turned aside quickly from the way that the Lord had commanded. Sound familiar? So I took a hold of the 2 tablets and threw them out of my 2 hands and broke them before your eyes. Then I lay prostrate before the Lord as before, 40 days and 40 nights. Wait a minute! How many days did I lay prostrate before the Lord the first time? 40 days and 40 nights. And the second time, 40 days and 40 nights. Now, given I'm an accountant working on my PhD, go to Capella University, given that, there's a little bit of math, not too much, but a little bit of math in that, I can put together 40 and 40 and make 80. I assume, though, that most of you can as well. 80 days and 80 nights. I neither ate bread nor drank water. Excuse me? Now, my father was a paramedic most of my life. I was trained in emergency medicine. I became an EMT. Level 2 in Oregon. I know a few things that I learned. One of those things is you can't go that long without water. You might, I emphasize the word might, be able to go that long without food. He neither ate bread, nor drank water. It was beyond his ability. You want God to use you beyond your ability? Just to obey him. Be right before him in heart. Do what he says to do, and obey him. And all of a sudden you will find out that you've done things longer than you think you have. You've done things that you don't think are possible, such as being a best friend. Who's your best friend besides Jesus? Don't answer that. Selah. Isaiah 54. Isaiah 54:11. Isaiah 54. Isaiah 54:11. O afflicted one. Anybody here ever felt afflicted? Storm-tossed and not comforted? Behold, I will lay thy stones in antimony, and lay thy foundations with sapphires. I will make your pinnacles of agates and your gates of carbuncles, and all thy walls of precious stones. Some of your children.
No.
All? All of your children? Anybody here have children that are not walking with God at the moment? All your children shall be taught by the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. Doesn't mean just once in their life. It means they're coming back. It is a promise. Anybody here who's not God's servant, would you please raise your hand right now? Anybody who is not God's servant, please raise your hand. I'm not seeing, you're not, well, even though you're a servant, you would be a son or a friend as well.
Or beloved.
Or beloved. But you'd still be a servant of God. If you are.
Yeah. Wakes me up with kisses, no alarm clock.
Amen. Amen. This is going to be a alarm clock sometimes. If anyone's, where are we? All your children shall be taught of the Lord. In righteousness, and great shall be the peace of your children. In righteousness you shall be established. You shall be far from oppression. You shall not fear. From terror shall not come near thee. If anyone stirs up strife with me, whosoever stirs up strife with you shall fall because of you. Behold, I have created the smith. I do love that. I've always loved that. I love that. My name is in the Bible. Who bloweth the fires of coal, fire of coals, and produces a weapon for its purpose. I have also created the ravager to destroy. No weapon, verse 17, that is fashioned against you shall succeed, and you shall refute every tongue that rises against you in judgment. This is the heritage of those people who are nice to God. This is the heritage of every single person who does everything their entire life that God says and never sins once.
Wrong.
That's not what it says either. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord and their vindication, the righteousness from me, declares the Lord. You want God to use you? If you're God's servant, He's already there. He's already doing it. Maybe you just don't know it yet. Years ago, not too long, many years ago, but I asked God years ago to do something for me. It's very special. Just a couple months ago, I was at my church over in Des Moines, and there was a prophetess who was a friend of mine who also attends this church when she's in town. And she said, I had to be so careful. Having every little thing in the right place, and doing the right thing at the right time. And she was extremely, exceedingly fearful about doing the wrong things. And I said, years ago I asked God to do something for me. I asked Him to orchestrate my silliness. Yeah. I asked Him to orchestrate my silliness. If He will orchestrate your silliness, you're free. Because you can just have fun in Him. And obey Him. Now, you'll know when you're in sin, and that's not sin. It's a big difference. But if He will orchestrate where you go, what you do, who you talk to, even those times when you think you're not doing anything for God, He'll be using you. And all you have to do is come before Him with a heart that says, Lord, I want